Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is the Tier 6 British artillery, the FV304, colloquially known as the Berty tank. Now I think this is my first artillery replay that I've put up on YouTube, but I think it's entertaining enough to share, and I have a little bit of fun with this quick moving, fast firing but very short range artillery. Now you can see it's reasonably quick for an artillery. It's got a punchy little gun, holds plenty of ammunition, and from memory, according to the stats, it does 400 odd damage a shot, but that is if it penetrates, and not many of the shots actually penetrate. But being HE ammunition, it does smaller amounts of damage. If you fire at a heavily armoured tank, it does smaller amounts of damage than the 400. But if the shell does penetrate, it does 400 odd damage. Now, this is an unusual map to do well in an artillery, being a city map. But the Berty, the FV304,
enemy armor is
can get into decent positions, and it has a pretty good arc on it too, so you can often fire over buildings. You can see my first shot on the ARL V39 did penetrate for a 447 damage, and you can, looking at the reload time, you can see it's only just over 11 seconds to reload, which is really quick for an artillery, and you can afford to take a few more blind shots. And you know, if you think you know where the enemy is, you can take a punt and fire away and hopefully get him.
Critical hit.
You can see that one, that was just a critical hit for 113 damage, so it's still not too bad, but quite often I've had games where I've been shooting, say, a T-150 or a heavily armoured Russian tank.
Got him.
And sometimes it does single figures damage, like it might do under 10 damage. Anyway, I've already got my first kill of the G1R, which is only a tier 5. I'm lucky in this game, I'm a top tier tank, so you can really dish out the damage when you're top tier. But even when you're fighting against tier 8s, you can normally do a little bit of damage. At this stage, I'm just sitting back at G2. I'm out of sight and I'm firing. This is about the full range of this tank, but my allies are lighting up the enemy, so I can just keep firing them. And at tank destroyers, you can generally penetrate quite well. Even though that last shot into the Jag Panzer only went for 140 damage, that's still not bad for a shot that you're taking every 10 seconds or 11 seconds. I do have brothers in arms on the crew of this tank, and I've also got a gun rammer enabled, which makes it fire just a little bit quicker. And you can see it's pretty good at aiming anyway, but I do have the gun laying drive, so it can aim even quicker. So it doesn't really cost you much to relocate, move and re-aim again. It doesn't cost you much in time in terms of aim speed. At this point in the game, it's pretty even. We're up by one tank. I'm just kicking back and firing shots into the enemy, but you can see on the map they do have quite a few tanks. The enemy have quite a few tanks in the southeast corner, but I'm just trying to help the tanks where our tanks are in the north central part of the map, because there's no use trying to shoot at those other ones. They're too far away and people weren't really lighting them up. We're still winning by 2 tanks, but you can see on the minimap those circles or half circles that are around our tanks. That shows the health. That's on Aslane's mod pack. That shows the health of our tanks, and you can see the KV220, the SU100 and the T-3485 are quite on reasonably low health, and they've got a couple of stealthy little tank destroyers hiding in the corners, and they're just slowly picking them up. Even though we are up by 1 tank, the enemy are slowly picking us apart. Now we're up by 2. Take a shot into that SU, and I'll take him down to quite low health. I think he looks like he's on about 25 or 45 there. You can see, even though he's in cover, I still have shots over that cover. It's got quite a high arc, so the shells can go over things. I take a blind shot, and unfortunately I don't get him on that occasion. Now at this stage of the game, I'm looking at the map. Our Hellcat looks like he's on full health, but the T-3485 looks like he's struggling. Looks like he's on about 25%. And I can see their enemy tank destroyers, which there are 3 of them. They've all got kills. They're sort of hiding around the E7 to E9 area and just slowly sniping them up. One of the other benefits of this little artillery, the FV304 Berty, is it's pretty quick, so you can afford to relocate. You can afford to outflank the enemies without taking it too far. Get behind them and put some damage. Now I knew this SU was here. I didn't think he was going to move. He hasn't really moved all game. It looks like he hasn't spotted me, or he's ignoring me, or he just hasn't realised I'm there.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
I take him out for my 3rd kill. Now looking at the map now, I can see the Nazorn is dueling with our Hellcat. You'd imagine our Hellcat would be able to outmaneuver him, but it looks like the Hellcat has taken a shot. And their Hellcat is on the far west side of the map. So with the T-3485 there, you'd think hopefully he can hold them off in time for me to cap. And if he doesn't, hopefully I can put some shells in them from a distance. I was debating whether to cap or not, because obviously when I cap it gives away my position. Now I'm hoping that the T-3485 is going to stay there and light them up, because I do have shots down this road, I think. Where I'm aiming now is where they were last spotted. So I'm thinking if he stays there, he might be able to see them, and I don't know what health they're on. I don't check, I don't check on the mod pack I've got, which tells me how much health they've got when I push a certain button. I think it's the Alt key. But I'm hoping that they're going to come up this road and I can get shots on them from here while capping. There's less than a minute to go before I cap, but I can see now the T-3485 is coming back to me. He's peeking around that corner, so that's where I aim, because if they're there and he spots them, that's where they're going to come. But no, the sneaky tank destroyers are coming around the other way. They're obviously reasonably good players. They know that, or they might know that I haven't got shots on them there. Got a shot on one there, but he's not spotted, and I can see by the splash that I've missed. Lucky this terrain's here, because this Nazorn's coming around. He wants to kill me. He's aimed at me. He's fired. He's nearly killed me. And I take him out for 445 damage. Luckily for me, the Hellcat shoots and misses. I can see that he's got 5 seconds to go before he reloads. I've only got one. Bang! There he goes. And that was the end of a brilliant game in the Berty. As you can imagine, I was pretty excited at the end of the game. It was pretty tense. And had those 2 tank destroyers taken their time a little bit more, I think they could have taken at me, one from each direction, and I would have had no chance. But I was very lucky that the Nazorn didn't kill me with one shot, and the Hellcat missed his first shot, which enabled me to reload and kill him. So looking at the post-game battle results, you can see I got the Mastery Badge, 1456 experience with my premium account, which is 971 base experience. You can see on there 8 tanks I shot, damaged, destroyed or spotted, which also gave me the high caliber badge, the Bruiser, and whatever that blue medal is to the left. But this was only my 6th game in the FV304, and it was my Mastery Badge. And you can see there on the full battle results, 2,187 damage, 5 kills. Would have been nice to get a top gun, but I simply ran out of opponents. Looking at what everyone else did, a lot of only one other tank did more than 1,000 damage, so I'm pretty happy with my performance in this game. But a few of the enemy team, including the Nazorn, had a pretty good game and did a fair bit of damage and some kills. But it was a pretty exciting game for me. I'm not much of an artillery player. The Southeast Asian server at the moment has the British artillery line on sale, 30 to 50% off depending on the tier. So I lashed out and I bought myself this beaut little tank, and I've nearly got the following tank unlocked, and I will take advantage of the 30% off. Looking at the full screen results, I fired 20 shots, only 9 hit. That's probably because of a lot of the blind shots that I took, which in this With its 11-second reload, you can afford to take a few blind shots, especially if you think you know where the enemy are, but sometimes they do move. 6 of those shots did some splash damage, 2,187 damage. I only received 1 hit, which almost killed me, but didn't quite. Damaged 7 tanks, killed 5. The game only went for 7 minutes, so it's pretty good. Like normally artillery, you want it to be a slow game, and you can see the bottom line profit, 33,000 credits with my premium account. It would have been just under 20,000 with a normal account, which is a great bottom line profit for a normal non-premium account. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this replay of the FV304, the Berty Tier 6 British artillery, which I don't normally do. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you soon.